Welcome everybody to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast, and in this episode we're going to react to Ubisoft Forward 2023. There was a lot of exciting announcements, so we're going to break it down for you all. If you guys notice, we don't have any B-roll. Sorry about that, a little bit unconventional of us, but we still have a lot of great points, so stick with us. Dylan, let me get your thoughts on the reveals and stuff.
Yeah, I thought Just Dance was amazing. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's the best part.
Right? No, I thought, to be honest, I felt like it was kind of short. I think the last Ubisoft Forward that we reacted to had a lot more. This one felt less so. Nonetheless, there are a lot of cool reveals that we'll get into. I'm sure, Star Wars is probably, and Assassin's Creed Mirage are the biggest takeaways. So for the most part, it was okay for what they showed. I just wanted a little more, but after all these game showcases that we've seen, it feels like most of the games that we expect to see are kind of already coming this fall. So we saw some games that are coming next year as well for next gen, possibly. But let's get your thoughts on it.
No, that's completely fair. I understand where you're coming from with that. Yeah, it's interesting how all these showcases, they kind of felt lackluster. We've beat a dead horse already. We're talking about why already in so many, but for the most part, yeah, this one, honestly, the Xbox and this one got me super excited. I'm not going to lie, with some title releases, and it's so funny that we also see Phil Spencer in the audience with some other people. So there's like a lot of cool people there in the audience. They did their showcase a little bit differently. So with the other ones, it was like just straight to video, whatever. With these, it was like a nice presentation. I mean, Summer Game Fest had a nice presentation too, but I was surprised that Ubisoft Forward went for that. So it's kind of cool to see after the pandemic, they're coming back to their roots.
They kind of did it like a product launch almost. Like they had the creative directors come in and talk about it, and then we got to see like some cool gameplay trailers too, right?
And a lot of stuff they showed. Like from the things they actually showed, it was great. We get to see, like you said, the developers, and then we get to see exactly the gameplay, which is awesome. So not a lot of games. I think the three takeaways, I have like 3 games in my mind. The rest are okay for some. So why don't we start off with your first pick?
Well, it's actually the first one that they showcased, which I was surprised. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, which we saw the teaser trailer last year, and it looked amazing. They finally showed us some gameplay. I'm a little skeptical about the first person view. I think it's kind of weird, but they show that you can also, it looks like third person when you're flying on the Akram. I guess it kind of makes sense in a way, because it's like the movie, it's like you're actually like stepping into the Navi in a way, but it looks just kind of weird like when you're interacting with stuff. But I think the graphics look okay. This is a new story that is kind of in tangent with the main canon, and James Cameron himself came and he talked about it, and it looks for the most part pretty similar to the movies. You just play as a Navi warrior, but bred from the RDA lab, kind of like what they did with what was his name, the Colonel.
Well, they kidnapped that. So the story is, they kidnapped the Navi and they raised the Navi to go against their own people, and then later on they escaped.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. Like they have like different projects within the RDA, how they use the Navi.
It's like the Empire.
One is like, it's like one they're like breeding Navi, and one they're like kidnapping. So I'm sorry about that, but so they kidnapped these Navi warriors and then they trained them. So it's cool to see different perspectives. You can use guns from the RDA, but you can also use weapons from the Navi, like bows and arrows and stuff. So I think that's really cool. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I liked the trailer. I just thought exactly what you're saying. I'm not a big fan of this being in first person. I feel like this is the wrong type of game to do that. I get the idea. It's like you're stepping into, it's experiencing the whole beautiful world of Pandora through first person. So it's like they try to make you really immersed. But I don't know, like so many action sequences here and there. I feel like when you do it in first person, there's certain limitations. Well, I mean, I say that, but look at Doom, how amazing that is. And that's just first person. So it looked great. The graphics, I know a lot of people will think like, oh, we need to see great graphics. They're fine. This is what I expect from Ubisoft. Ubisoft has like a distinct look to each of their games. It doesn't seem super polished, like let's say from a game from Naughty Dog or something like that, because they're using different engines. But that being said, there's a lot more than just the graphics here. So we do see a lot of variability in, I think, what is it? It's in the northern side of
the western
front, right? Yeah. And it looks really great. The traversal looks interesting. How to get around. It looks huge. The Akram, that's amazing. Like how, or they call it Akram, but it's like Banshee, I think, in the encyclopedia. So that's really cool to see. Just you could go wherever you want to go. The various amounts of weapons as well looks really cool. And the story, for the most part, I think seems really compelling. It reminds me a lot of, so the story from Far Cry, they do it in a good way where like the land itself has a lot of story to tell as well. And over time, the more missions you do, you start noticing different little details. So you could see that here, and that's really cool because they do something with the camps, and you gotta like camp out you gotta look and then take it over.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me actually of Ghost of Tsushima. I wonder if it'll be like similar style, like you have to liberate like certain settlements and then the Na'vi kind of like reclaim, parts of Pandora. I think that'd be really cool actually. And the design just looks really good. You see like different parts of Pandora. I think they made like some new areas that we haven't seen on screen. Like there's these more floral areas, and they included some new creature designs as well. There's like this kind of like bison looking alien too. So I think the design is really cool. Yeah, of course the graphics aren't perfect, but like you said, it's like they don't have to be all the time. I think they kind of look undersaturated, but it's fine. It's Ubisoft's signature look, I guess. They said too there'll probably be like a 2-player co-op too. I think that's really interesting. You could like play with a friend too.
That's cool, but I feel like that's a waste too. I mean, every time like a game like this, they always introduce co-op, then something is gonna like happen bad, like with glitches and shit like that. If you notice, like through history, or like it becomes mid for some reason, just for the co-op aspect, because they're trying to like incorporate that, and it's like a big pain in the ass. So that's what got me worried, was when they said that. I was like, oh shit, and it's like that. All the Ubisoft games, most Ubisoft games anyway, are co-op, so it's what you would expect. I don't know, but Ubisoft has their downfalls as well. So I hope it's not cringe like the NPCs that you get to meet. They showed plenty of tribes as well, new tribes, which is pretty beautiful to see. And you get to, again, it's just like Far Cry. I mean, Massive, I think they did Far Cry 3, and I think they remaster or something like that. So I think they stick to their roots, and Far Cry has a really good formula, so it matches really well with this game. Again, I just wish it was third person. Imagine how much more fun, and then plus you get to customize your character too, so it's like really odd. But
I always appreciate custom like characters, like actually seeing them, and like you said, like being able to customize. Like maybe you could wear like RDA like vest or something, cool. Or like Navi gear if you want to go like the more filmic route.
Right.
So yeah, it's a little weird, but yeah, that'll be dropping on December 7th of this year. But moving on, what else do you have for us?
Yeah, so I guess maybe I should just, to get out the way, Assassin's Creed. So we get a beautiful ass trailer for Assassin's Creed Jade that's actually just going to launch through mobile. So, but I tell you what though, for mobile gaming, it does look pretty beautiful. Everyone always wanted an Assassin's Creed game to take place in China or Japan. We already got our Japan release. We just need more information. But for China, it looks great. The story looks great. Let me get your thoughts on that portion.
Yeah, it looked beautiful, actually. I love the trailer. It felt very, Asian inspired. They're going a more Eastern route, right? Because mostly the Assassin's Creed games take place like on a more Western or, African route. But I think it's interesting. It's something that the players kind of want to see. Maybe it could be a leadway somehow to, a Japan map down the road. But all I'm going to say is get your phones ready. Delete all your pictures and files now. Because that thing looks like it's going to take a lot of storage.
Yeah, it does. It really looks like a heavy game. And again, the graphics are pretty amazing for it to be on mobile. It's really cool. I kind of wish, though, they released it on, like, I know it's weird, but like I wish you could play it on Nintendo Switch. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Yeah, it feels like it'll feel a lot better because I did play
or PC. Yeah,
PC. I played their last game. I forgot what it was called, but I think it takes place in Italy as well, and it was kind of hard to get around. I'm not like a mobile gamer, so I think a lot of people probably miss out on this experience. But it does look like there will be a nice story behind it as well. But after that, we did get more information on Assassin's Creed Mirage finally, and I think like a 7 to 10 minutes gameplay sequence. So let me get your first thoughts on seeing that.
Yeah, they went really in depth to it. I even watched the breakdown after the showcase, and they just showed so much. And I think it's a beautifully designed game. I just love the environments and how detailed it looks, and I just love the vibe of it. Just from down to the music, it feels like this Persian story or something, and I just love the gameplay of it. It's more stealthier. It's going back to its roots, like they said. There's a lot of new techniques now. It feels like the takedowns almost feel like something out of like Spider-Man or something, and it's very strategic, right? So infiltration, is a big thing, but also knowing when to escape or how to escape, blending in with crowds is just as important as, planning an assassination. I think that's a really cool aspect of it.
Yeah, and that aspect of it actually reminds me a lot of Unity. This game does take a lot of elements from Assassin's Creed Unity, which I'm glad to see. Although the parkour seems a little bit different. Like it looks like a hybrid between Assassin's Creed Valhalla, let's say, with the parkour mixed with gameplay elements from Unity. There's a lot of tools that we also have here as well. So we had the blow dart, of course, that's a staple in Assassin's Creed. You could make people sleep and also berserk mode completely. We also get our eagle. So I forgot the name of the eagle, but now they did a new gameplay thing. Well, that's gonna suck so bad because the eagle is like super overpowered. I remember, I think it was an Odyssey or was it Odyssey or?
I was thinking it was Odyssey that you could play as like a falcon or something.
No, that was Origins, but I was gonna say you could actually control it to like bite people and shit like that as a distraction.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but here this time, if you're going near a base, they shoot it down. So they never did that before.
I'll feel so mad if like somebody like. You remember that scene from The Mummy when they shot down Ardith Bay's like falcon? I'll be like, Horus! Horus! I'll feel so bad if somebody shoots my falcon.
Oh boy, yeah, I know. That's gonna suck really bad because let me tell you, I use that thing so much, right? Because sometimes it's kind of hard to see in these games because it's so detailed. The map looks beautiful in Baghdad. It looks amazing, absolutely authentic.
So detailed, down to like the use of like the carpets from like I think that's like part of Islamic culture too. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I thought that was really cool how they integrate the culture into the game, right?
Yeah, I think you could also, the great thing about these games too is they also have another dub that you could play it in. So I think for what was it, Vikings, you could also hear people speak their language. For Valhalla, yeah. So here, I'm pretty sure it's just Arabic because I did see the actor from Bassam, but it's a different actor. He's like Arabic, so he's gonna be like the Arabic actor. So
what did you think also of Bassam's look?
Oh my god, I love it, man. I actually really love it because I was mad that they kept on switching away from the white for the longest time and then they went back to it. I love how they implement like different people's culture into their robes. It's so cool, so unique, amazing. I think the enemies though kind of look generic, but Bassam he like stands out from the rest. I actually feel really sad looking at him each time though because I keep thinking like, spoilers ahead for Valhalla, that's Loki will possess Bassam eventually, and so but Assassin's Creed Valhalla takes place after Mirage, so it's like it's really sad. I wonder if they're gonna allude to that at all. But yeah, besides that, I think this will stand out from the rest of the Assassin's Creed games because it's returning to its roots. It reminds me a lot of, and we had like another Arabic, Altair, of course, one of the most famous Syrian. So I'm glad that they went to this time period because we had Egyptians, now we get Arabics. I am disappointed though. I was hoping that we would see something for the other two games that they announced. And that system, that hub, remember, like from the last one? I'm kind of disappointed they didn't talk about that whatsoever. So maybe
they showed us the Nexus VR thing.
The Nexus VR, yeah, it was
which
cool.
To be honest was like mid for me. Like I think I'd rather just play like third person than just be like, I don't know. They love first person for some reason. I guess it's like their staple.
Yeah.
For me personally, I always just like to see my character, especially Assassin's Creed, because it's so adaptable to different time periods. So so for the Nexus thing, they had the 3 assassins. I think one from was it Assassin's Creed 3,
Assassin's Creed 3, Odyssey, and
Ezio. Yeah. I mean, that's cool, I guess, if you guys enjoy VR. You get an extra aspect of Assassin's Creed, right? But not my cup of tea per se.
Well, every property, I think now they're starting to at least get one VR in. Marvel did it. Now Assassin's Creed, everyone's like doing their own thing now with VR. I'm surprised Call of Duty never did it.
Well, they're doing everything now. I guess they're doing VR, mobile. They're trying to get into different markets, I guess.
Yeah, well, I guess that's smart. They're a huge company, so I guess that's pretty much smart. Hey, but at least we get to see Assassin's Creed Mirage here. It's really, yeah, it kind of feels like all these showcases are like, let's reveal the stuff anyway because it's about to come out anyway. So let's just do that. So, all right, why don't you give us your next hitter?
Ooh, I was kind of disappointed we didn't get anything with Skull and Bones other than a cool song from
Green Day.
It was Green Day.
Yeah.
Diet Green Day, right? No, that was cool. I mean, the only thing we got was, there's a closed beta from August 25th to 28th. I wonder if, I feel like it's going to be mad glitchy when it comes out because they've been working on this shit a long fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really scared for the release because I've been waiting. I love pirate games.
Mm-hmm.
And the showcase they did, I think, from the last Ubisoft looked cool from, the different ship customizations, but I'm kind of concerned for the release, but we'll have to wait and see for that. What did you think of the Division Resurgence?
I mean, I think, isn't there like fan base based dwindling? I'm surprised they never announced. They're going down the Destiny route where it's just taken too long to make another Division because they already built up so much in the Division 2. So, I mean, the Resurgence is just a CGI trailer. It looks fine. I know that they went back to New York not too long ago. And we also get a shot or like a little look at, I think,
New York or something.
Yeah. I mean, but this is a mobile game, so whatever. It's cool that they're doing more mobile games. I'm amazed at how far mobile games have come. Like it's really shocking, honestly. You have Assassin's Creed, and now you have the Division, one of their 2 highest selling IPs. So I mean, more variability. That's awesome. It's just not for me. I'm sure it's not for most people. I mean, I don't know usually people play games that are just to pass time. This looks like something you really have to invest into. I know Call of Duty Mobile is doing really well, so I could see why they want to tap into that market. The CGI trailer though does look pretty fun, So yeah, let me get your, instincts. Let me get your thoughts on. Before I move on to something else, let me get your thoughts on Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix, because we might review that. That's you have your interpretations, but
it looked all right. I didn't expect it, to be honest. The creator from Castlevania Netflix series is behind it. I thought that guy got canceled a long time ago.
Me too. I asked you that. I was like, is he canceled?
I guess that's how bad Ubisoft is that he ended up there. And he came up with this weird like. It looked like something off of like, I don't know, Wish or Etsy or something.
Like the last Watch Dogs game for some reason. Yeah,
those weird like trendy outfits, whatever. But it looked all right, to be honest. The animation looked good.
It did. Yeah.
Apparently there was like some AC references in it too. I don't know much about Captain Laser if this is an adaptation. So if you guys have played it, let me know because I'm actually interested now. But I'm always down for new Netflix anime adaptations. They did Justice 2 Cyberpunk really well, and I love Castlevania, the Netflix series. So I'm surprised to see what we'll see with this one.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it takes place. I guess it's a part of based off the Blood Dragon expansion, which was amazing, forever iconic. I wonder if we'll see some characters from that expansion make a appearance here. I think that'll be really sweet, actually. So we don't know much about the characters. I mean, this is just a teaser, so it looks like it's going to be a wild ride. Will it be deep and this and that? I don't think so, but I think for sure, hopefully it'll be iconic. And they've been working on this for a long time. And they also had, I think, that Netflix desktop game. Remember, like a long time ago, they announced that. And it's like they try to make people excited.
Did they go anywhere with it?
Not really.
They haven't really done anything with Netflix games.
Well, but they're trying to build up to this, so I hope that it's worth the hype. Well, stay tuned. We'll see. We're going to review it then. I think, there's other games like sorry guys, there's the Crew Mortarfest. That looks pretty fun. I gotta go back to the Crew, but I think the most significant and the most screen time that this game got was Star Wars Outlaws. We've been finally waiting to see another a Ubisoft game that is Star Wars based, and they got the licensing. This is very promising for the gaming industry in general. So now other people can also adapt their own version of Star Wars, and we see Star Wars Outlaws. We get more information on the story. Let me get your thoughts, because I'm kind of mixed.
If I hadn't watched Starfield yesterday at Xbox, I would have been really hyped for this game. I'm not gonna lie, because I've been waiting a long time for a Star Wars open world game, and I'm sure the community has as well. But no, nonetheless, I thought it looked pretty good, to be honest. I know you have your reservations. I think we always talk about the graphics, but I think they're okay for what it is. Yeah. Actually, probably better than other IPs from Ubisoft. But yeah, it looks amazing to me. I love the playability of this very down-to-earth character in the Star Wars universe, where you have to make deals with the underworld of Star Wars, something we don't really get much in the video games. Mainly it's just like either like Jedi fighting the Empire, like in Jedi Fallen Survivor, or it's like a Battlefield or a Battlefront, I'm sorry. So I think this is a cool new take on it, and I love the theme of it is like your reputation, right? Mm-hmm. So in this game, they said you live and die based on your reputation, right? So they give you a lot of freedom in this game to make your own choices as a character, whether you want to work with certain people or not. They add a function where it's like there's also like a wanted thing. So if you go against the Empire or something, like you're like on a big wanted list, and that makes it harder for you as you advance in the game. So I love the reputation ranking system. I thought the droid too was cool. That commando droid in Overcooked. I thought that was like so like drip. Yeah, for some reason.
Droid drip.
The ship design was pretty cool too. That's the Trailblazer. Yeah. It looks like a big like freighter. I thought that was really cool. Yeah. I wonder if you'll be able to like explore it kind of like in Jedi Fallen Order. But I love seeing it like just leave the atmosphere. And then, you can jump into hyperspace. You can go to all these different planets. We got a new planet in this one. It's called Toshara. Yes. It's a new moon. It's kind of like this cool settlement. I said in the last one, maybe we'll see other planets, perhaps like Tatooine or Coruscant, hopefully, or perhaps they want to do their own thing. So I think it's a really ambitious game. I can't wait to see, how it unfolds. You said probably we'll see glitches upon release. I agree. I think it's, it's a big game, so I'm wondering like how it handles, and I forget if they said this is I think for PlayStation
next gen. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited, but let me get your thoughts on it.
I only said there might be glitches in the beginning. It's just because from history, if history says anything, Ubisoft Forward usually has issues promising this and that. Like for example, Watch Dogs a long time ago, amazing graphics. Then they showed it again and had issues, and they rushed a lot of things, and especially they brought people in for Watch Dogs 2 to rehaul the driving mechanics. And the reason why I mentioned Watch Dogs is because this gameplay reminded me a lot of Watch Dogs, interestingly enough. And I think it was really weird why they did that like widescreen aspect ratio. It kind of got in the way because the whole thing was really dark, and then everything was like just passing by. That's like an old person's perspective. But looking at the game itself, seeing the world building, I think, it's what you would expect from Star Wars now. I mean, we all expect something to have like cute characters mixed with somebody that's really rebellious. It's kind of getting a little tropey now, but nevertheless, it's a warm welcome always since it's Star Wars. The gameplay itself, again, reminds me a lot of Watch Dogs, but they finessed it less. That's how I felt. Like, it felt a little bit too stiff. The gun gameplay, I love how red and bright the blaster bolts were, but I hope it's not annoying. Like, I wonder if you could upgrade some blasters so that the cooldown it only takes 4 seconds.
There's different modes too. I think it has like a stun mode or something. They said like Kay Vess's blaster is like very personal to her, and she likes to customize it. So in a way, it's almost like a lightsaber to this character. Like she can probably like equip it with different settings. I think that's really cool. We haven't really seen that in a Star Wars game. So they give you a lot of cool playability, and you use your pet too. I think his name is Nyx.
Yes.
So your pet is also like part of your character, so you can use Nyx to activate switches or stuff. So it's very like sneaky, like how the gameplay is. But I think that's a cool factor into it, that you have to use stealth in this game too, as opposed to just open firefights.
Yeah, it's really different. I mean, even the fact that you're not wielding a lightsaber. I don't know if you could melee. You could probably punch people, but I don't know if you actually have melee weapons. But the fact that you use a blaster and it's third person and open world, I mean, it's something we wanted to see for a long time. I remember Visceral Games, they were going to do a third person open world Star Wars game. Fortunately, we couldn't see that. And then you have Star Wars 1313, and now you have Star Wars Outlaws. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of different weapons. We see that she could pick it up as well, like pick up some stuff on the ground. I wonder if you can keep those, because she dropped it. She was like, dang, Ferric. We do see a lot of details like throughout the whole thing. I tell you what, though, it is very detailed, the world that they have set so far.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that the story is not ass, because in Watch Dogs, it was like, and I keep recalling back to like Watch Dogs, because this, I swear to God, this reminds me so much of Watch Dogs, and that's why I'm kind of worried. I hope it's not ass. It doesn't seem like it. And also the technical side, right? Because we've seen this looks pretty good. I am actually happy, and really happy, that they showed their actual graphics. It didn't look like this polished Unreal Engine 5 type of setup. It looked like, I'm glad that we could actually spot the flaws, like, oh, it's kind of whatever. That's actually like really good of them to show that. But the technical limitations, I wonder what will happen, because it seems like you could do a lot. The fact that you get to go up and then fly around and then perhaps explore a little bit. I mean, and that's awesome too. Like we talked about a couple of games that there was different ways to play, through ships, through first person, third person, at any time you want. That's awesome. So I love this new trend that they're trying to do, where it's like there's way more options for you. And it brings more life to the actual game and the experience, that you could play this for a long time. So I'm sure there's plenty of side quests and whatnot. I am excited. I am really excited. I'm reserving myself a little bit, just because I know what to expect.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's of course it's still early. This is coming next year, so probably we'll get more updates as we get closer to a release date. But for the most part, I was pretty satisfied with it. I think just open world makes sense for this franchise, because we've always wanted an open world Star Wars game. It kind of gives me like Starfield, Marauders mixed with Red Dead Redemption a little bit. So it takes like the best bits of those games and kind of implements it into the wonder of Star Wars. I just love, just watching that trailer actually felt like I was watching like a mini spin-off of Star Wars, right? So yeah, and this takes place also between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi too. So I don't know if we'll see Cal Kestis. I doubt it. They probably want to keep it separate from other IPs, right? Make it their own thing. But I wonder if like how much involvement maybe Jedi could have in this game as well, or if it's just strictly the underworld.
Well, maybe there's a chance to see like a young Lando, if that's not impossible, or something. I also hate how he said she's pulling off the biggest heist. Like, y'all never watch Solo? Yeah, or like all these biggest heists,
Motherfucker, for her career, maybe for her career,
for her reputation. Shit. There you go.
She's getting like pennies off the streets of Tatooine.
Yeah. There you go.
Shit.
That's right. Well, yeah. So overall, what did you think of Ubisoft Forward 2023?
Well, Massive is getting banked next year, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
shit, with all these
true.
open world game shits. They're eating good next year, I'll tell you that. Overall, like I said, they didn't give me too much, but what they gave me satisfied me. I felt full watching this, right? It was like, it's I would say the exact opposite of PS Showcase, because they gave us a lot, but they didn't give us much in terms of quality. So I think it's the reversal of that. I'm sorry. Yeah, overall, I was pretty satisfied, and it was a good note to end these gaming showcase events. Our Ramadan is finally over. We can now have our Sabbath of rest. But no, it was a really fun showcase, and I'm so excited to see the amount of content that we're getting close to this end of this year and next year as well. But yeah, let me get your final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm glad to finally finish these shit show reactions, because I tell you what, we're posting these late. We went through so many issues, but I think that actually reacting to these was really fun. As time progresses, our skills and whatnot progress too. And it's kind of interesting when you're so tapped in to the industry and watching the news and stuff, and you do see like little details here and there, even if it might be slightly disappointing that you didn't get your favorite title to be released or showcased. You can at least appreciate that these games that were showcased, they put a lot of time and effort. And I think that's a really beautiful thing, especially in these days where it's so hard to accomplish so much, especially in this industry. Like I'm telling you, it's really interesting. You would never expect that, but these days are hard days. So I am really excited. I love the showcase. I'm not going to lie. Even if 3 of the games were like my favorite out of all of them, I think the fact that they put so much effort and detail and actually explaining their new, like the Prince of Persia game, stuff like that, I think that's a great thing. I wish more showcases did that as well. Because, for example, Starfield, they did that. Okay, great. But the rest were just like, I'm going to show you briefly, and then you have to guess later.
Quick trailer and then move on.
Or let IGN take it from there. But like they took the effort to actually give everyone, and I feel like that's a beautiful form of respect for the actual viewers at home. So I really enjoyed this. Thank you guys. If you stuck around to the end, this will be our final reaction for the summer, I believe. But July, we have something very interesting coming for everyone. But Dylan, why don't you take us away?
Well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate all you guys for checking out our content. We were so exhausted this week covering each of these showcases with reviews in between. So, like I said, Ramadan is over for us. But yeah, hey, check out our other content. Check out last year's review if you want, because we covered those as well. It was really interesting seeing those and then seeing now like how we've grown as a podcast. And yeah, wherever you listen to us, leave a comment, let us know how we're doing, like, subscribe, anything helps the channel. But guys, until then, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you guys.